All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have an important discovery here. I was just listening to Seven Bomar talking about an egregor, and in my own layman's terms, it's basically a congregation, an on think, a congreg, greg, a g-reg, um, something that's regulated, monitored. Uh, the etymology of egregor is wakefulness, but he talked about it in what tends to be a more, there's a sinister format of it, being corporations who basically takes on again a mind of its own, kind of like a writing seems to take on its own life outside of the author. So it led back to egregor being from mentioned in the book of Enoch, and I've known Enoch to be, first of all, Eon, but also an acronym for ethereal, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen, some of the basic elements of the human body, to again include carbon. So uh, in Hebrew, Enoch, it looks like Hanok, almost like Hancock, just without the other C. So to see a Hanok would be to Hancock. Um, so in the Bible, one of the few people recorded as being taken by God before death is Enoch, who was the son of Jared. Again, break that word down, put space between Jah and Red. So God being red is Cain. Uh, and Noah's great grandfather. So again, in Noah, we have the nitrogen, the oxygen, we have an A, which I would say would be more like atom, and then we have the hydrogen. We don't see the carbon in Noah, in the word Noah, and we don't see the ethereal. So again, when it was time for Jah to destroy that lineage or to preserve that lineage without outside influences, then Noah had found favor. And so Enoch, being the son of Jared or Jared, and the great grandfather of Noah, it shows again the lineage of being preserved even through, quote, hardships. So, one of the reasons why Noah, the archetype of Noah, survived is because he took precise instructions and he executed it to the letter. The kind of wood, the measurements, when to go, when to build, all of that has a lot to do with survival. And again, because God is the intuitive of one's self, this came through vision, through him writing his own um, blueprints, if you will, and carrying out the process. So angels are always excuse me, angels are always watching and monitoring. And why is this so important to me? Because to me, again, when you use the word E or the letter E, then you're talking about those things that are in the ethereal. So things that are packaged up, broken down, and then repackaged on the other end, for transfer or for transport. Um, and Gregory is my children's father's name. And so as I um, confirm my own life as an ambassador, bass being the big fish, the door, being an opportunity, something to allow you to come in. So I am the ambassador of truth as it pertains to validating our own lives and being okay with the life that we created for ourselves. For me to be famous, again, it means my entire lineage is famous, is how I see it. On the bicycle of life, the two spokes, the two witnesses, the two worlds, the two cogs have to work in unison, to move you forward. So, to acknowledge the egregor as a person, myself as well as you, a part of the whole, but being whole in and of itself. So, like the toe, the scripture says that, the toe should not look at itself as being, not significant in the body. And again, we know this, being a small member, but if you stub your toe, you know, the whole train got to stop. At least to acknowledge it, even if you're the kind of person that perseveres. So that's what we have to understand about our place in the world. If the world wants to count, if the governments want to count all of us 7.9 billion people on the planet, then that means that all 7.9 billion are important. We have been imported. I'm portal. You are portal. You are a channel. I'm a channel. And so those that watch and monitor from a distance as well as up close, the macro as well as the micro, and you see the pattern, you see the sameness. Uh, Seven Bomar was showing an orbit, and I saw basically the three, uh, the one stable tree, if you will, and then the other two orbits as an X. And so again, it kind of makes a butterfly or any other kind of um, suspended um, aerial or aviation like being or insect. So having a proton, having a neutron, someone who is neutral, is important in the middle of protons and electrons. And that which is in the middle, which is your nucleus, which is your body, um, of consciousness, or I'll even say consciousness, your canness, your candidness to yourself about, um, again, being an elixir of life, being an essence, being a cluster to, you know, bring the muster without sounding too rhymy. Um, the muster again is the soldiers that come together at a particular time. So that huddle, that core being the five coming together as a fist. We all have this. We come here with the closed fist, signifying that we want for nothing. You know, um, mothers, we learn first through the mouth. So the hand comes after we've been nurtured through the mouth. And then once we do learn through our hand, what do? We put it straight to the mouth to get what experiences we need. So that's why you have to have a watcher, you have to have a monitor. So a watcher, as a parent, caregiver, is also a timer. So a watcher, as in I'm looking at you, but a watcher, as in someone that's keeping time, um, says that you've done playtime long enough, you've done eating long enough, you've done work long enough. It's time for the next thing. So we are the watchers to keep time in our life. You are it. Me it, you it. We're all it in the sense of IT, which is information technology, which is instructional trainer or instruction teacher. Just these are always an acronym, always acronyms or anagrams, just different ways to have this condensed knowledge funneled down, broken down, and then someone incorporates it to bring it out to the world. So that's what I'm here to do. That's what I hope that I was able to convey to you, that you have your own fist, how you rule. um, when you have a fist, you're basically saying, again, I don't need for anything. I don't, people say a closed fist, can't receive anything. Well, what if you don't want anything? You're coming in the space of, I have all that I need within my hands, within my own power. So you are no longer required, or you no longer need an egregor or an Esau. You know, you're basically your own observer of life and what it is that you're wanting and asking for your next experience to be. All right. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.